watch it. You may have to press OK. Okay. Yeah. So I was saying that this is a very famous work and verse, and right now we have the Olympic Games going on. I'm sure some of you had a chance to watch some action, and you can see that, right? So many athletes from all over the world come, and they prepare for 4 years. But ultimately, there is only three people who win, right? Gold, silver, and bronze, and rest of them have to go empty-handed. But does that mean that they do not prepare, or they should not think about winning? Of course, they have to, and you have to work hard. But it's the result that we have to detach ourselves, right? And it applies to all of you also, because you are all student, and you have to go through so many exams and tests, and I know it's very hard, right? Preparing, and sometimes the results are not to your liking, so it can be disappointing, right? But believe me, in bigger picture in life, nobody's gonna ask what you scored in 8th grade or 7th grade or 6th grade or even ninth grade, for that matter. What will matter in the big scheme of things is what you learned and how you use it. Okay. Nobody is going to ask you, oh, what is the Newton's third law, or write me an equation of that, whatever algebra, some equation you write to me, or trigonometry, what is the formula for, you know uh, sine 30, what is the value of sine 30? Nobody's going to ask you what these things you are learning, so you know about many things, and then you know how to apply them, and you should study as like you're enjoying that learning. So the process is more important than the end goal. I know everybody likes to get A's and 4.0 and what have you, but the process of learning is also very important. So this is what this verse is saying, that you do your work, and the results, if they come the way you want, that's good. If they don't come, that's also fine, but keep doing your best. Okay. Any questions? This is very important verse. You have to always remember this verse. Any questions before we move on? All right, good. So yeah, this is what I said. So like, we have the examples of a farmer, right? So when you sow the seeds, right, the farmer digs the ground and sows the seed and water it. But ultimately, what kind of crop will come, what kind of results will come, it depends, right? There is no guarantee. But the farmer still keeps doing the job, right? So what we have to do is we have to offer our work to God, right? So when you are studying, you should not study in the way that I get the good grade and then I will enjoy, or things like that. You should study in a way that I'm learning it so that I can use this learning for something good in the society, and I offer it back to God, right? So for example, those of you who are learning biology can think of becoming doctors, and then you can help the people who need healthcare facilities. So that can be one example. Not that I know some kids, I have heard them talking that they want to buy an island or something after they become a big doctor, neurosurgeon or something. So I know it's funny to hear that, but that can be your ultimate goal, right? Because then even if you become the doctor, you will not be happy. Even if you earn the money, if you don't like what you're doing, you will not be happy. So we should be happy with what we do, and do our work in that manner, not just that what is the result going to come, how much money I'll make and all that. Okay. If you are good at something, money will automatically follow. You don't have to chase the money, money will chase you if you are good at something. All right. Okay. So of course we have talked about it several times that no one can manufacture these things. They all come by God, right? Grains, fruits, vegetable, milk, sugar. So we have to be grateful, right? We have to have the attitude of gratefulness towards God and nature, Mother Nature, which is giving us so much, right? So being spiritual also means living in harmony with nature, being thankful, right? To everything, not wasting the resources, right? If you see a fan running in your home and in a room and nobody's there, you should turn it off, because why waste resources? Or using the water in the tap, right? So the problems that we see currently, of global warming and all kinds of things happening in the world, it's because we are we are abusing the resources that's given to us, right? We have become too greedy, we have become too selfish, right? And you can see in China there are floods right now, in Europe there are floods, of course coronavirus is there, in some places of northwestern United States, in Canada there was too much heat, right? Portland and Seattle and Vancouver, right? I know the people who live in Arizona, they're used to that hot weather, but not in Vancouver. So why these things are happening? Because we are abusing what we have got. We are not using it. So we should take what is needed and not abuse, right? We should be grateful. Okay, any questions? All right. So moving on, of course, we talked about all this. Yeah, and then this is again very important thing. Never consider yourself the cause of the result of your activity, right? So sometimes we get little pumped up or little puffed up, that, oh, it happened because of me, or I am the doer, right? But the truth is, we are only a part of the equation, the big equation. And so, like I gave you example of farmer, right? The farmer he plants the seed, and but the rain has to come and the weather has to be nice. Sometimes, so for example, you did the crop, you planted, you worked hard, and let's say the flooding happens, like how it's happening in China right now or Europe. So the whole flood is destroyed, right? So how can you say that I'm the doer of everything, I'm the cause of everything? A lot of things are not in our control. We need to understand that there are many things which are beyond our control. So we should do our work and hope for the best. We can say that I will determine the result, or I am the cause of everything, right? So that's another important principle. Okay. Yeah, as I said, we have to do our best and leave the rest to God. Okay. Now, uh, yeah, so God is in control, right? So for example, here is the baby in the womb of mother, right? So how does the body grow? You will learn that the baby literally grows from, it's as little as like a pea, green pea, little green pea. It's the size of that, and the embryo, and then it grows and it becomes a fully grown baby, and then the baby comes out and becomes an adult and so on. So uh, it's God, right? It's God's miracle that this is happening, right? It's such a complicated and fascinating process how this happens. Even us, right? Imagine in our brain, all it takes is just one little dysfunction happening, and people become crazy, or they just lose their mind. If something happens, you get hit on your head or something. So it's such a complicated and wonderful design, this human body that God has created, and it's working so perfectly, right? So but it's very fragile also. So we should know that not everything is in our control. Many things are in God's control. Actually, everything is in God's control, and we should make good use of this human body. Okay. And be grateful, right? So now let's talk about, there is another verse in Bhagavad Gita which says that whatever you do, you offer as a sacrifice to Krishna, right? So sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than mere sacrifice performed for material possession, right? So what this means is that uh, we we can just say, okay, I'll go to temple and I'll offer one banana, or some fruits or some sweets or something, and I'm done. That is the material possessions we have got. We have to perform. We have to also give sacrifice our knowledge, right? So for example, we are discussing this right now, we are discussing this philosophy. So this is an example of performing a sacrifice in knowledge, right? That you learn, you read, and you share with other people. That's a that's an example. And then what is the ultimate goal of our life is to get free from the problems of this world, and go back to home, go back to Godhead. So Godhead means where God lives. It's a kingdom of God. So I know this is a very big topic, so I'll just quickly cover it, not go in detail. But the bottom line is that in this world, as long as you are there, like last year it was Corona, this year it's something else, next year there'll be something else. It just keeps going. We feel if we become rich, we'll be very happy, or if we have a good car, or good whatever, we will be happy. But the truth is, there is always something happening, right? So we need to understand that this world is kind of a place of misery, unfortunately. I know you probably may not like that, but that is the truth. So how we can be happy? If we are God conscious, right? If we are performing our work as an offering to God, if we are living in harmony with nature, if we are nice to everyone, right? So that is the way to live. And the ultimate goal is to go back to God, right? Where we came from. That is our ultimate goal. All right. Any questions here before we move on? Okay, everyone is very quiet today. That's all right.
If you're
Yeah.
not entitled to the fruits of your work, then why work?
Sorry, Arush, repeat the question.
If you're not entitled to the fruits of your work, why work?
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay. So why work if you're not entitled, right? So ultimately, everybody has to do some work, right? So for example, if you say, I'm not going to do anything, right? Let's say you decide, I'm not going to do any studies, I'm not going to do any work, I'm just going to lie on the bed, right? But guess what? You're still doing some work. You're breathing, right? Or are you not breathing? There is some functioning happening inside your body. And by the way, after some time, you will feel hungry. So you will look for food, right? So you will have to eat, which is also a work. So the truth is that nobody can say that I'll not do any work. Basically, as long as you're living, you will do some work or other, right? You may not be doing work for other people, but you will do work for yourself. So work you will have to do. You cannot say, why should I do work, or I'll not do any work. Now, the important thing is, do it in a spirit of offering to God. Do not think like, if I'm doing work, I have to get a result like this. Or if I'm doing this, this is what should happen, right? This is where people get disappointed, right? Because they do something and they want the results to be to their liking, and when that doesn't happen, they are not happy. So, and as I said, work you have to do, because that is your duty, right? Everybody has to do the work. As a student, it's your duty to do studies, right? When you become an adult, like you can see your parents, they work and they cook food and they clean the house. So everybody has to do some work, right? I mean, tell me one person in the world who does no work, right? I mean, unless you have really left everything and you have gone to Himalayas, become a yogi, or some sannyasi living in a cave or something. That's a different thing. But 99% people living in this world, they have to do something. Is that clear, Arush?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So we have talked about this mantra. So how many of you know about this mantra? Please raise your hand. Sid knows. Who else knows about this mantra? Or who has heard this mantra? Please raise your hands. Kush knows it. Very good. Ela and Avni Avnet and Soda. Okay. Okay. So many of you know it, right? So those of you don't know, this is a very, very important mantra, and something that you should try to chant at home. So as we talked about, I hope you remember one slide where we talked about the benefits of mantra meditation on your mind, how it relaxes you, how it helps you with focus and everything. So this is a very important mantra, and it's a very easy mantra, right? So you can easily read it and easily recite it. So this actually purifies you, right? So when you chant this mantra, it purifies you, and you will have good thoughts, and you will have clarity of mind, and you will feel very blissful, right? So the people who practice bhakti or the spiritual process, they chant every day, right? And they chant for a long time. So this is like a meditation. Usually meditation is silent, right? People just sit and focus on something, they try not to think. But this meditation, mantra meditation, is when you think on Krishna and when you chant. And what this mantra means is that Hare means energy of God, right? And Krishna is the name of God. And same thing, Rama is also a name of God. So what we are saying is that, oh, energy of God, please take me to God. Yes, Sid, what's your question?
I thought it means oh hail or something.
Oh, hail?
Yeah, like all hail like this person or all hail that
No, no,
person.
no. No, no. What it means is Hare Krishna. Hare is the energy of God. So basically, it's another name of Radha Rani, right? So, or Lakshmi, or whatever you want to call it, the Devis, that we pray to. So we are praying to that Devi or Mother to take us to Krishna, or Rama. That's what it means, that, oh, energy of Krishna, please take me to Krishna, that's what we are chanting. So this is like a phone call to Krishna, right? So you all know that sound vibrations. So the principle that energy cannot be created nor be destroyed, right? I'm sure you have heard of it in physics. So basically, the sound vibration when we chant, they just go in the universe. They don't like get lost. So the idea here is that this sound vibration can ultimately reach to Krishna, and it's like our connection to Krishna. Okay, so when we chant, we are remembering Krishna and trying to uh, you know tell him, that, hello, like, it's like a call. Yes, Sid, quick question.
But then what about Ram also?
Yes, so Ram is another name. So Krishna, when I say Krishna, it means Ram also, so basically Lord Krishna came in 10 different avatars. So have you heard of Dashavatars? So basically, there are 10 incarnations, 10 big major incarnations of Lord Krishna. So Rama is one of the incarnations, Okay. So it's same thing, Krishna and Rama. There's no difference. All right. Sid, I'll take your question at the end of the class. Okay. I have to cover a
But
lot.
like that technically means he like died so his soul went into another person, right?
Say that again. What?
That means like Krishna died so his soul goes in another person.
No, 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 no. So, the birth, this die and all, it does not happen with God. Birth and death. So God comes by his own free will, and then he does some pastimes, and then he leaves. He go back to his abode, right? So the words birth and death we do not use for God. It's for regular human beings. Okay. So Krishna is never born and he's never dead. He's always there. Okay. So yeah, I will talk to you more in the end, Sid. Let's move on. We have a lot to cover today, being the last class. Okay. We'll talk more about it. All right. So as I said, remember the Lord, and this is what the yogis do, right? So the word yoga, right? It is so much misunderstood in modern times. Yoga, people think, when you talk about yoga, people think it just means stretching and, doing some exercises and all that's yoga. The literal meaning of word yoga in Sanskrit or Hindi, it means union, right? Like connecting to somebody. So it's a connection of spirit soul to God. That's what yoga means. And yogi is a person who does things so that the relationship between him and God can be reestablished, right? So yogi can be anybody. Yoga does not mean that you leave everything and you just trying to meditate or doing some exercise. Yogi can be a doctor, an engineer, a professor, or anybody. So as we talked about it, you have to offer the work that you are doing to God, right? And you should not think you control everything, and you should get the results that you want. And also you should chant and you should live in a holy way. Then you are a yogi. Also, yogi doesn't mean that you have to be the actual physical yoga person. Yogi means one who is trying to connect to God. That's who a yogi is. Okay, so mind management by mantra. So we talked about mantra. Now let's talk about mind management. How does that happen, right? So mantra has two syllables, right? Man and tra. So anybody here knows the meaning of man, especially the Hindi speaking people? Can anybody share with me what does man means? I'm sure you've heard this word. Yes, Sid.
Maybe it means want.
Want. No, that's not correct. Anybody else? Um, yes, Ela. Ela, go ahead.
Man means mind.
Mind. Good job. Avnit, what do you think? What does man means?
Man means mind. Yeah.
Mind. Yeah. So we say, right? I'm not feeling like this today. Mera man nahi kar raha. We say in Hindi, like, I'm not feeling up to it, right? So basically, man means mind. You're right. So that is what mind is. And tra in Sanskrit means to deliver. So basically, mantra is something that delivers your mind, delivers your restless mind, which controls your restless mind. So that's what mantra is. And I hope you remember this graph. We talked about it, right? So how the brainwave frequency is in the best region when we are doing the mantra meditation, the alpha zone, the relaxed alert zone, right? If it's low, you are here, drowsiness and sleepy. And if you are too hyperactive, like you see this picture of this lady here, so this is hyperactive zone. So this is a scientific analysis. This is not done by just spiritual people. So basically, they looked at the frequencies called electroencephalograms, EEG, right? And they measured it. And people who are meditating, the frequency of their brain waves are here in this state. So this is scientifically proven to help you being calm and relaxed and blissful. Okay, so this is what the mantra meditation leads you to. All right, now here is a person, right? He's the youngest director of this company 3M in France. He's 29-year-old, and he says everything starts happening for me when I begin chanting the mantra, right? Then, so these are all basically very successful business people, right? We are talking about them. We are not talking about just some priest from temple or somebody. So this gentleman here, he's the owner of Ford Motors. He's the great grandson of, actually grandson, not great grandson, grandson of
Henry
Ford,
Ford.
Yes, Henry Ford. So he's a devotee of Lord Krishna, and he does chanting. And what he says, that chanting has made a tremendous impact in my life, right? So they're all sharing their parts. And then he's another Indian industrialist, right? He says there's nothing more pleasurable, right? So we have examples of people who are very successful in corporate lives or business lives, who are sharing the benefits of of chanting the mantra, right? So what it means is that, as we talked about, a yogi does not mean a person who does yoga and who does nothing else, or who goes and sits in a forest in a meditation, right? That's not the definition of yogi. So same way, you can be in any profession or any talent, right? And you can dovetail your talent and offer them to Lord service, right? So what are some practical examples, right? So for example, you are a very good cook, right? So you cook prasadam or food and you offer it to God, right? And then you eat. So that's one use of your cooking talent, right? If you are if you are good in gardening, you can do gardening and offer those things. If you are good in singing, you can, people generally sing movie songs or pop songs, or so many other rock songs, which actually mean nothing if you think about it, right? So or very little real meaning, right? Like even the Bollywood songs, I'm sure you all have seen those. There's just no real substance in it, right? It sounds good, and it's, they're singing and whatever. But truly, uh, the love doesn't mean that, it has to be expressed in a singing way or anything. It can be, you can express it without those songs and all that. So the real use of singing or playing an instrument or dancing is when you do kirtan, or you perform something for Lord's pleasure, right? So that is the real, because ultimately, who has given the talent to us? If you think about it. So for example, if you see a very good singer, right, or a very good dancer, I mean, how did they, especially singing, this is very inborn ability, like some people just are good singer naturally. It's not like you go to a certain school and you become a good singer. Now, of course, you can learn few things and you can fine tune your singing, but the ability to sing is given by God. So how can we claim to be the creator, or how can we claim to be the owner of that ability and just use it for our pleasure? Why not? When God has given us the talent, why not give it back to him? Even intelligence, right? So I mean, people are born intelligent, and of course you have to work hard and you have to learn things. But some people, you can see, I'm sure you have seen examples, they're very sharp, right? Like they can figure out something much quicker than other people, right? So how did that happen? Why somebody has such high IQ, whereas somebody does not have that IQ? So this is God given. So we have to use our intelligence and our talents for the service of God. And even if we are doing any profession or any activity, we should do it as a service to God. We should not, like I gave you example of that doctor, a doctor should do it as a service to humanity, right? Not as that, I become neurosurgeon and then I'll buy an island because I learn millions of dollars, and all that. That's not a, just not a good way to look at it. All right. Okay. So let's recap. Everything belongs to God, right? Do your best, leave the rest to God. Work with knowledge of goal of life, right? So what is our goal of life? Is our goal of life that we just come here, uh, study, earn some money, enjoy life, and then everything is over, right? I mean, that seems to be such a petty goal, because if you think about it, everything, the money, the house, the car, everything, you leave it behind, right? When a person is gone, when a person is dead, it does not matter. You cannot take anything with you. All the possessions, all the money, all the things that you collected is left behind. So it seems like a bad deal, right? If that is your goal. So imagine you are spending all your life earning this money and building these houses and doing these things and cars and everything, and then you leave everything behind. So that can be the goal of life, right? Because nothing goes with you. So the goal of life has to be higher. The goal of life has to be understanding our true identity, trying to understand who God is, and then build that relationship with God. And then ultimately go back to Godhead, go back to God's kingdom. That should be the goal of life. And then, of course, you cannot be doing unholy things. I'm sure none of you will take up those professions, right? Of doing unholy things. And then remember God by chanting the Maha Mantra, or any other mantra. If you do, this is one of the easiest and best way of doing it. So I showed you the example. And then finally, you can dovetail all your talents and professions for Lord's service. It doesn't matter, what talent you have, everything can be done. All right. Any questions before we move on? Why is everyone so quiet today? Okay. I'm going to ask some questions then. So, Kush, are you there, Kush Patel? Kush? He's probably not responding. Okay, so give me an example of, okay, whoever of you want to talk, give me an example of how you can offer your talent to Krishna or God, what talent you have got. Yes, Sid, go ahead.
Okay, wait, by
Say
offering
that
it to
again.
God? By offering it to
Yeah,
God?
Yeah, which talent? Yeah. Which talent
I
would
don't
you offer to God?
I don't know. Like what? Like
You
should I
don't
say
know?
something
Okay.
I'm good at?
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that's what you should say, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Think about it. Answer to me in the end. We will move on. Okay. So we talked about it. What is the formula? Do your best. Leave everything to God. We talked about this surrender part, right? Then we talked about feeling of gratefulness all the time, right? So do you all feel grateful that you have a good life, good parents, healthy body, good school, good family? How many of you feel grateful? And is there anybody who does not feel grateful, like we have a really good life when compared to other people in the world? Do you think? Avnit, would you like to answer that? Do you feel grateful?
Yes, we feel grateful for the life that we have.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Nikita? Nikita, you want to share with us? Do you feel grateful for everything?
Yeah.
Right. So we are really lucky, right? So uh, it's like a poem, but let's read it. I asked for strength, and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. Right. I asked for wisdom, and God gave me problems to solve. I asked for prosperity and God gave me a brain to work, right? So let's take a practical example, right? So I'm sure all of you know swimming, right? Or have learned swimming or taken classes. Now,
Well, I don't
why
know
do you
swimming.
think you don't know swimming? So you should consider taking classes, okay? It's a
Yeah, I
really good
used
life.
to, but I can't because of COVID.
Yeah, I understand. So think about a child. So for example, your father knows swimming, right, Sid?
No,
He does not know. So okay, let's say there is a kid,
but
his
my
father
mom
knows swimming.
does.
Yeah, your mom knows swimming, right? So if a kid says, oh, I don't want to learn swimming because when I'm drowning my mom or dad will jump and save me, do you think it's a good answer? Do you think that's the way to do it? Or,
No.
well, the parents will say, yes, we will save you and we will help you, but why not you learn it and you help yourself, right? Why you want me to be saving you? I rather want you to learn it. So yes, it's hard work, learn swimming and practicing and going to classes and everything, but ultimately that's what makes you strong. So same way, Sid, I will talk to you in the end. Okay, let me cover. I have a lot of stuff to cover. So what it's saying here is that when we have problems, we should not say, oh God, please take away my problem, please make everything good. Instead, we should ask for strength to face those problems, right? That's what we should pray for. And we should pray for wisdom, right? That's what this poem is saying. All right. And see, I asked for courage and God gave me obstacles to overcome. I asked for love and God gave me troubled people to help. So we have to be compassionate to everyone, right? We should help people around us. Then that is the true love, right? Of course, we love our friends, we love our family, but we should also love people who are not so fortunate. We are all so fortunate. We have got a great life, but we should also share that fortune with other people, right? I asked for favors and God gave me opportunities. I received nothing I wanted, but I received everything I needed. Do you all like this? Isn't it a great poem?
I guess so.
Yeah. So if you always remember that God sends trials, troubles, problems, challenges only to shape up your personality, to bring out the best in you, to mold your character and life, to become a pure soul, humble, simple, tolerant, respectful to all God's creatures, then you will appreciate the fact that failures are stepping stone to success. Right? You all agree with this? Pranjal,
Kind
what do
of.
you think? Pranjal,
Yeah, I agree with it.
right? You are, I'm sure you are in high school, right? Some bigger challenges, bigger problems, but you should keep this philosophy in mind, that the problems, when they come our way, they are to make us a better person, and we should face them, and instead of trying to find an escape or just avoiding them. All right. So we talked about it, right? Do your best, give up worry, tension about the result. What that means essentially, surrender to God, right? And then correct understanding of success and failure, right? We should have, as I told you, nobody's going to ask you what was your grade, nobody's going to ask you, believe me. So even things that you consider failure right now will not matter in the due course of time, right? And also, if something doesn't happen to the way you wanted it to happen, have faith that God knows the best. Maybe he has a plan, right? So like you wanted to do something and you could not do, don't feel sad about it. Maybe God has another plan for you. So what this means is feeling of being blessed all the time. And when you surrender to God at all times and you feel blessed all the time, that is the art of work, right? That is what art of work means. Okay. Any questions before we move on to the last part? All good? Tashi, Tanya, all good? Any questions? Okay, no problem. All right, so how to perform karma yoga, right? So I'm sure you have heard this word karma yoga, right? So as I was answering Arush, that everybody in this world is doing some work and nobody can remain without doing any work, right? Everybody is doing some work. If nothing, you are eating, you're breathing, right? So you have to do some work. Now, how to work in such a way that while you're doing your best, you are remaining stress free and cheerful? How to do it? How can work become a means of upliftment and happiness, right? Work doesn't mean it has to be stressing. It doesn't mean it has to be tension. It can be a source of happiness also. And what is karma yoga? So let's try to understand. And finally, what is bhakti yoga? So these are the two big terms, karma yoga and bhakti yoga, that we want to cover today. All right. So how do we do relaxed and efficient working? First thing is concentration. So when you are doing an assignment or when you are studying something, try to be focused. Don't get distracted by text messages and WhatsApp messages and YouTube and whatnot. You know it. I don't have to tell it. Discord and so on and so forth, right? So attention, right? We have to pay attention to everything. It's attention to details. When you will grow up, you will see and when you will apply for jobs, grow up in the sense when you become adult and you apply for jobs, you will say this is one of the things in every job posting: attention to details. So what this means is people are lacking this thing, attention to details. Awareness, right? So be aware of total picture of each and every step involved. Do not do mechanically, right? So sometimes we become mechanical about things, right? Okay, every day I have to do my homework. So, okay, I'll take out the paper and I'll do the homework. And when I finish the homework, I find out, oh, this was not due tomorrow. This was due Friday, right? So this happens, right? This has happened because we are too mechanical. We have to get conscious of what we are doing. All right, absorb completely, right? So when you are doing your work, you have to be oblivious of everything else. Live in the present. Don't drift on past or future, right? So this is another common thing that we see, that either we are regretting about something that happened in past, right? Or we are desiring something in future, right? That, oh, I wish I can get that. Oh, I wish that happens. So we are always in these two states. Either we are regretting or lamenting what happened in past, or we are desiring or planning something in future. But in reality, we should live in the present. Don't drift. This is a very important quality. Do you agree this happens with you? Has would anyone like to share this kind of thing where you said, all right, go ahead.
First can I ask what like and what the term mechanically means?
Yeah, so mechanically means when you just do without thinking, So for example, every day you wake up, you brush your teeth, you eat your breakfast, you just go about your routine, without really thinking. So let's say you are used to getting up at certain time and you don't even know like it's a Saturday or Sunday, it's a weekend, and you again get up and get ready and you're like, okay, let's go to school. And then your dad is like, no, but today is no school. Oh, I forgot, it's my routine, I do things mechanically, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, and also now can I share like about the past, present, and future
Yes,
thing?
yes, go ahead and share.
Honestly, a lot when I have to do stuff on like pen and paper. Instead, I say that's just ancient history. Now all that matters are computers.
That's a good point. Yeah, so you are saying, why do we need to learn history,
No,
right? So
I mean
you
like
are there but you are not there.
I'm
Yeah,
saying like why use pen and paper if we have computers?
right. Yeah.
Pen and paper, if you write it down, it helps you memorize as well. It commits into your memory. The typing doesn't help you memorize it.
Okay, that is one example. But yeah, Sid, also Sid, I think writing or drawing is a way of expressing, right? So sometimes like you want to express something, right? So you must have, I'm sure you all have drawn a lot as kids, like I have a little daughter, she keeps drawing all the time. So I get a window to her mind, what she's thinking, right? So it's a way of expressing yourself. Okay. Ela, you want to share something? Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
sometimes with the like awareness, like sometimes you get so worked up into trying to do something that you kind of forget. And then when something doesn't happen, then you're thinking about the future and like what I want to do. Now I want to do this. And then it's like the
Yes.
cycle.
Yes, yes. So we have to learn to be happy in the present. That's very important because what has happened. You can't change it. Like, let's say you didn't do well in one of the final exams of your last year's grade, right? One subject. Now, why keep thinking about it? It's gone, it's past, right? Can you go and change it? No. Of course, you should learn your lessons from it, but you can be just, paranoid about it or sad about it all the time. Just move on, right? And same with future. Who can control future? I mean, who knows what's going to be there tomorrow? So you just do your job well and hope for the best. You can say, oh, this is what has to happen tomorrow, right? So we can't control it, right? Okay, moving on. Uh, Detachment from work, right? As I said, when the exam is done, it's done. You prepared for it, you did your best. Let's move on. We can't be mulling over it all the time. Don't have any lingering thoughts, right? Be fresh and wide awake for the next activity. So see, this is what happens when you're thinking about the past thing, you can't focus on the next thing, right? So suppose you didn't do a test very well, but then you have to prepare for the next test. So if you are going to be sad about it and thinking, you can't prepare for the next test, so you have to leave it behind and be fresh and awake for the next activity, right? Don't fear about the task done or not yet to be done, like we talked about it. Be goal oriented, not grab credit oriented, right? So everybody wants fame and name and rewards and all that thing, right? But uh, you know and we want, for me, right, like I did this because of me, this happened. So that is called taking credit for things. So we should focus on our goal, but we should not say, okay, what is in for me always. If I got, you know whatever, all A's, where is my reward? We can expect it, because that is our job, right? I mean, your job as a student is to study well. This is not conditional, right? That, oh, if I get all A's, I have to get this award. Come on. Like, your father doesn't get any award for going to work every day, or your mother doesn't get anything for cooking every day, right? So same way you study, because that's your job. So we can't be asking for credit in everything we do, right? It's our goal, we achieve it, but we can say, oh, where is the reward for everything, right? and avoid aimless work, right? So for example, kicking football without aiming at goal, right? Or so so sometimes we are going on a highway, on a freeway, and then we take these exits, right? And these exits basically waste our time and we lose our way and things like that. So when we are focused on something, we should do that. So I'll give you an example, right? So let's say you are doing some research for a project, right? And then you come across a link on internet which talks about something else, and then you become interested in that, and then you read more and you read more, and then you're completely taken a detour from your goal of preparing for that paper, and now you're wasting time on that thing, and it goes on and on. It happens with all of us, right? So we should be conscious to not get sidetracked by these things, always focus on the thing that I'm doing, right? Okay. So who is a karma yogi? Karma yogi is who consider all work as God's work. So see, that's another very important thing. There is no work in this world which is bad, right? We cannot say that the janitor in our school is lower than the principal of the school. No, everybody has a work. The person who's cleaning is as important as person who's managing the school or teacher who's teaching, right? So we have to consider everything as a work of God. We can't say, oh, this is higher class work, this is lower class work, and all the hard work is important, all the hard work is should be respected. And then how should we work? I'm the servant of God, right? We talked about it. All the talents have been given to us by God, right? So we have to act in the way that God, you gave me this talent. I'm gonna serve you, or I'm gonna serve the humanity, right? So because I'm a servant, we should not say that, oh, I'm the boss, I'm the enjoyer, everybody come and serve me, and I'm going to give the orders. Everybody has to follow my order. Not that kind of mentality. Okay. Work with complete sincerity and dedication, right? And after you're done, as we talked about it, leave the result in the hands of God with all humility, because you are not the controller. You did your best and then hope for the best. We can't say this is how the result should be. So a karma yogi does intense work but leaves all results thereof to God, right? And finally, what is the art of relaxed and efficient working? It's shift your attitude from doership to divine, right? Eliminate the feeling of I did it, or only because of me this happened. If I was not there in that team, that project would never have been delivered. The other people were just doing nothing. I'm the main guy. We can't have that feeling. Of course, you have to contribute and you have to do your best, but we should not think that everything is happening because of me. You can say I'm doing my part and others are doing their part. Maybe I'm doing my part a little bit more, but we can't say I'm the only one. All right. As we talked about, when you go to sleep next morning, you wake up or not, even that depends on God's wish, right? So we can't do anything without God's sanction. And there are many uncertainties in the world, as I talked about, right? We have seen in the corona times, how the life can change and how hard it can be, right? False ego and doership feeling, right? We should remove that. And don't credit, right? We should not always run for credit, right? That if I did this, I should be famous. If I did this, I should be rich. If I did this, everyone should like me. No, you should do your work and rest will take care of itself. And surrender to the reward of God, right? And so, for example, there is Hanuman's example, right? So Hanuman did so much work, right? He lifted the mountain also for Lord Rama. We know the story where Lakshmana got hit and he got the medicine. But he never took any credit. He gave all of it to Lord Rama. He just said, I'm a humble servant of Lord Rama. That's what he said. All right. We are coming to just two more slides and then we are done. So what should be the motivation of work, right? So purification of heart. So the world is self-sufficient and will continue to operate even without us. So you need to understand, we all came to this world at certain point in time, right? Like somebody's born in 2008, 7, 9, 10, whenever you guys are born, So the world was going on before that, and world will go on after we left the body also. So while we are here, we have to make use of this opportunity to do good work of helping ourselves, of purify our heart and develop love for God. That's what we should have a goal. Now, everything is ultimately done by God, right? God is not depending on me or you for running the world. We are simply given the opportunity to help others by God, right? So if you became a doctor, you are helping other people. You are serving the humanity. You don't become doctor to become very rich, right? That's not the goal. So all help is provided by God. We are just the instruments. We are just the instruments doing his work. I am not indispensable, right? So as I said, we simply become instruments to help others, right? So let's say you are not gonna help, but God will find some other means to provide that help. So if he so desires, right? So let's say you don't want to do something, but believe me, the help will reach one way or other. So you should consider everything as an opportunity, right? That you have got to serve others. If you say, oh, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not going to do that volunteering, or I'm not gonna whatever raise funds for something, but God will find a way. If really God wants that to happen, it will happen, right? And I am not helping God or others. So this is another thing, right? That there should be no ego when we are helping others. It should be out of love and compassion, right? So we help others because we love others. We don't help others because we are very powerful, or we are very rich, or we are very smart. No, we help others because we love others and we want to help humanity. That's how we should feel. Okay, last slide. And we end here. Remember this mantra. I will share in the WhatsApp group also. If possible, find time to chant. Arush, you want to share with everyone? Arush chants. Arush, how many rounds you chant and how you feel? Can you share with everyone here?
I can't 2 rounds a day.
2 rounds a day. Arush chants. So one round is 108 times. So basically, he chants this mantra 216 times every day. Okay, Arush, and how do you feel after chanting?
Mm,
You feel calm?
yeah, that's probably the best word for it.
Okay. Anybody else who has done chanting and want to share real quick? Anybody else wants to share their experience?
Yeah, I
Okay,
do
so yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I do chanting too, and yeah, you feel calm after.
Okay, who's this?
Ela.
Ela. Thank you, Ela. Okay, all right. So that was all we had to cover for today. So as I was telling at the beginning of the class, I'm done with everything that I wanted to share with you all. Next class, it's you guys who are going to talk and I'm going to listen. So all of you prepare, you can speak for about 5 minutes each, whatever, two, 3 minutes to 5 minutes, as long as you like to speak. You can either make a slide, or you can have a pen and paper, you write something, draw something, or if you just want to talk, just talk. However, you feel you can express the best. So we'll talk about two things. One, what you liked about the class, and two, what you learned in the class. These are the two things we'll talk about. All right. Tashitanya, I want to hear your voice. You're quiet all the time.
Hi. Hi.
Ready? So next time
Okay.
you all have to talk. All right. It'll be fun. The idea is you share with everyone, what you learned. Everyone has, I'm sure, different learnings, different realizations. So we share with everyone. We don't just keep it to ourselves. So it benefits everyone. Okay. All right. That's all. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bye.